Hey guys, welcome back. All right, day 93, we're almost at the end. So here's page 209, the complete book of principal contents of human life and temperament. What is the Tao? Okay, so let's preface by talking a little bit about embryonic breathing, okay? So when we do embryonic breathing, first foremost, engaging the abdomen, right? Engaging the abdomen just as an embryo would in the womb. So an embryo cannot breathe oxygen, right? Embryo takes in oxygen through blood, I believe, I don't know, but through the umbilical cord, through all of the connections through the placenta. So this is how the baby absorbs its nutrients, and it's it's encased, so it cannot breathe air. So there's an interesting visual and idea kind of understanding of what are we breathing compared to in the womb and out of the womb, right? So the ancient documents tell us that if you go back to embryonic breathing, you can attain longevity, you can attain immortality. So you go back to that state where you were in the womb. So I thought this was interesting. What is the Tao? It is only a grand emptiness. The heaven, the earth, the sun, and the moon are all generated from this grand emptiness. Therefore, the heaven and the earth are the real embryo of this grand emptiness. Heaven and earth are the real grand embryo of this grand emptiness. And the sun and the moon are the real breathing of this grand emptiness. If one is able to conform with this grand emptiness, unify the human with nature, then the heaven and the earth constitute my embryo, and the sun and the moon are my breathing. What is contained in this grand emptiness? It is also my contents. In this case, how can I be parted from the contents of the heaven, the earth, the sun, and the moon, and become confused like other people? Confused, attached, worldly desires. I really like this. A human body can be considered as heaven and earth, and if we are able to unify our physical body and spiritual body with the heaven and earth, then the embryo of heaven and earth is also my embryo, and the breathing of the heaven and the earth is also my breathing. It does not matter how and what, we are a part of nature. Dr. Young's interpretation. If we are able to unite ourselves with nature, then we are able to harmonize our spirit with it. We must first find the origin of our lives and trace back to its root. This root is our chi center, our spiritual center. Our chi center and our spiritual center. So, really great to reflect upon, think about, meditate on. Okay. So, going back to holding the breath, which I read about 2 days ago, I'm starting to get an feeling and a visual of how to do embryonic breathing, meaning holding the breath. And so if you hold the breath, similar to that of being underwater, when you're in water, you're encased. You cannot breathe oxygen, right? So when you're in the womb, you're also encased. You cannot breathe oxygen. And you realize that when you try to hold your breath underwater, the more that you train it, the more that you try, you realize that there's a breathing reflex that happens. And you realize you can get a couple of more seconds, maybe in increments of 5, 10, right? So this is really interesting to me. Also, in terms of holding the breath, conserving, and breathing in this way, we know that people, animals that breathe slowly, smoothly, softly, they live longer. Could this be key to longevity? I think so. So let's go in. Let's go into the posture. Let's go into the breath. Connect to your abdomen. Feel the subtlety of the abdominal tissues moving in and out as you inhale and exhale. And try to connect to your energy body. Find the upper and the lower dantian, those centers. Find those points, the spiritual center and your chi center. Use reverse abdominal breathing to condense the energy at these centers. You can hold the breath. Remember, hold the breath and continue to condense the energy. Two steps in, one step out. If you can do 3 to 4, 5 steps, steps in and then one step out, that's even better. Start to drop the energy down into the chi center, returning the sun to the mother. Inhale, drop down. Exhale, release. keep your mind at the lower dantian. Normalize your breathing. Try to make it soft, make it slender, smooth. Don't forget to swallow the saliva. Alright guys, well, I'm going to let you go. Really great scripture passage from the ancient documents. Beautiful weather here. Hope you all have a great weekend. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.